Hello and welcome to Archvelder's Hacks with Archvelder and his amazing hacks. This video is a comprehensive guide to the Warlock class. There's a heavy focus on demonology in this video simply because that spec has more abilities with exploit potential, but destro and affliction locks should find some things of interest here. The Demonology Warlock's ability, Demonic Leap, can be exploited in various ways, and there are two basic methods. The first is to simply go into demon form, jump, press forward, and Demonic Leap. And the second method is to again first go into demonic form, jump, use Demonic Leap, and then use a Goblin Glider at the highest point. If you do this without the glider, you've got no forward thrust at the highest point. So you'll need to buy a ton of gliders cheaply off the auction house. And this latter method provides more height but has a 3-minute cooldown because of the glider. And we can see how method 1 works here at the starting blue gate in Strand of the Ancients. Position yourself at exactly the right point and use the first jump method I mentioned, and it will take you into the gun turret area where you can bypass the gate completely. And in Battle for Gnaus we can use the same method to get on top of this walking structure. Indeed, you can get onto virtually all buildings in Battle for Gnaus using that trick. And you can put down a demonic circle that has an amazing synergy with this type of terrain exploit, as I'll explain later. Here in Temple of Kotumogu, we can vividly illustrate how powerful the secondary method is. In fact, this has consistently been the most powerful method for accessing forbidden areas in Warcraft for years. If we climb onto this tree on the right of the starting alliance area, you can see how this works. Jump, Demonic Leap, and then use your Goblin Glider, and we should be able to get on top of this Mogu structure in front of us. And then you want to put down a demonic circle so we can get back up here when we jump down. Make sure the demonic circle actually materializes. Sometimes up here it misfires and it won't appear. Then we go and grab an orb, and when we return to the demonic circle we can port straight up. And it's impossible to attack anyone up there. Now, when we're up on the structure we don't actually score any victory points, which is the point of holding the orb obviously. This is presumably an anti-exploit feature Blizzard have imposed. However, it is easy to get around this. You simply stand as near as possible to your demonic circle location and you port up whenever you are about to be attacked. This won't win absolutely every game, but it does give your team a huge advantage by effectively taking one orb out of play. The following trick is amazingly useful when gold farming or reputation grinding, leveling, or indeed doing pretty much anything in world. First you enter the proving grounds here, and then immediately teleport out of the dungeon. And now you can access the proving grounds at any time, at least until you log out. And now you go wherever you were going to go in world and do the thing you were going to do. Now when you use your Summon Infernal, that's a very powerful cooldown Warlocks have. One of the most powerful cooldowns in the game. And the Infernal has a long cooldown for that reason. But we can get around this by accessing the proving grounds. If you summon your Infernal and wait until it's expired, and then re-enter the proving grounds, there's a trick to reset that cooldown. All you do is talk to the panda there and start the Proving Grounds countdown. You don't have to wait for it to conclude. And you can see the Summon Infernal icon has been reset. And then when we go back into World, we can immediately call our Infernal again. And this is something that's amazingly useful for grinding elite mobs. Mobs that are tough for your level. The following method requires you to cast the Doom spell upon yourself. For most players this is most easily accomplished by dueling a friendly warrior and getting the warrior to use a spell reflect ability as you cast Doom. I don't work with other players for these videos because I don't want to compromise someone else's account, so I've gone to this location in the Valley of the Four Winds where these turtles have a shield ability similar to spell reflect. You want to queue up for arena, then attack the turtle using melee, and use melee because any spell will one-shot the turtle. Then wait for the turtle to use its shield and cast Doom. Sometimes this fails, but about 50% of the time you should end up casting Doom on yourself. Now enter the arena, and your own Doom spell should be ticking down on you. And your Doom will produce a wild imp to fight for you if any tick of the Doom spell crits. You can get up to 5 imps this way, which is roughly equivalent to the Imp Swarm spell, a major cooldown. And you can use this trick in conjunction with Imp Swarm to get a truckload of imps. There are many ways to develop this trick. For example, you could duel with a hunter and cast the Doom spell on his stampede pets, and then enter the arena together. And potentially this could get you 20 or more imps at the start of the arena match. The Warlock ability, Eye of Kilrogg, can be used to bypass walls and other normally impassable barriers, as I'll demonstrate here in Deadwind Pass. Explorers have been using Eye of Kilrogg since the very earliest days of WoW, but the same trick can be used to skip to the end of dungeons or raids, and it can be used in PvP to access inaccessible locations, taking the Warlock out of line of sight and making them effectively invulnerable. Stand at this location next to Karazhan Crypts and spam Eye of Kilrogg. And it may take a minute or so, but eventually the eye will pass through the wall of the crypt, if your eye is glyphed correctly. You can put down a demonic circle inside and access this mysterious location, one of the lost secrets of abandoned Warcraft content. I'm mentioning this specific location because it appears that Karazhan Crypts will be changed soon in Legion, and this fascinating example of an unreleased dungeon will be lost forever, so you may want to check it out while you still can. Here in Arathi Basin at the farm, whenever the flag is captured, a number of critters spawn around the flag. It's rats for hordes and chickens for alliance. And these critters can be used to generate embers for destro locks. But here I'm using my demo lock to generate wild imps by shadow bolting those chickens. And you can generate a small army of imps doing this, up to 12 of them, 16 maybe if you have Imp Swarm glyphed, making it very easy to defend the farm even against multiple opponents. The following exploit shows you how to access abilities normally accessible to players with a Demonic Servitude talent even if you don't have it. Select Demonic Servitude as a talent and summon an Infernal or Doom Guard, and then change the talent. The demon will disappear after a few seconds, but you have just long enough to use Grimoire of Sacrifice to gain these demons' powerful abilities. The Infernal's ability is a powerful AoE 2-second stun that can change the course of battle in your favour against multiple opponents in PvP. The Doom Guard's Shadow Lock silences a spellcaster for 6 seconds in a specific school of magic, which can be decisive in arena. And when combined with a talent like Charred Remains, these abilities are quite overpowered. In a battleground in PvP, when you're resurrected, this demon will spontaneously respawn without the need to use Flames of Zorath, so be ready to do it when you resurrect. And if you use Flames of Zorath for your Infernal, you can actually combine the two demons together, as I'm showing here. It looks visually quite interesting. Can have quite a dramatic effect on battle in PvP. Demonic Circle, while it forms the basis of many actual exploits itself, is most powerful when used in conjunction with terrain glitches. If you go onto the area above the Horde tunnel and use a goblin glider, you can get on top of this totem-like wooden structure you can just see in front of you there. And this will allow you to attack players from range, as you can get quite high up here without melee being able to get anywhere close to you. It's a tricky jump to pull off. Make sure you judge the height correctly. Now, for a range class such as a hunter, this is only marginally useful except against poor players. There's a number of ways that players from the ground can take out the player. A Death Knight can pull you down, a rogue can shadow step or cloak or dagger up there, or most effectively the enemy team can simply avoid the area. Demonic Circle makes all of those counters ineffective. For example, I can pursue this player on foot, and if I get into trouble when other players attack, as happens here, I can just port straight back up to the top of the structure. The Warlock ability Fear is mentioned frequently on WoW forums, with many accusing Warlocks of using this ability cynically to trap players in inescapable locations. If you look at my WoW PvP exploits video, you'll see that there are a great many such locations. However, after attempting to use Fear to trap people in these locations, I can say that the accusations levelled at Warlocks are myths. Fear is simply far too unpredictable and unreliable for this purpose, even if you are standing on the entrapment location itself. If you want to try it, I'd suggest using a very large entrapment area, such as this area behind the bar in this workshop in the Isle of Conquest, where you can see I've trapped this Tauren. But to be honest, this is a very tough strategy to pull off. Demonic Circle has an incredible synergy with Warlock casting abilities, such as Demonic Bolt, as I'll demonstrate here. When you cast Demonic Bolts and spam Demonic Circle at the same time, you'll be transported to your circle, and the bolt will find its target, and it will no-clip through the wall, and indeed it will go through any conceivable barrier within a reasonable distance. And this also works with Chaos Bolt. A guy called Luxeley, a great YouTuber, developed this strategy. I'd urge you to go and look at his video to see how an expert uses this tactic in a battleground. Finally, the following exploit shows you how to get into inaccessible locations indoors. First, purchase the Foxycopter toy from the Hemit Nesingmurray camp, the Valley of Four Winds in Pandaria, and this toy launches a miniature helicopter which works indoors where flying is normally impossible. If you've glyphed your Eye of Kilrogg when you cast Demonic Circle, the spell will treat the Foxycopter the same as your Eye of Kilrogg, so you'll be able to put down Demonic Circle in normally inaccessible areas, high up indoors. And there's lots of applications for this. You can get amazing results with it in world PvP, for example by getting onto the ceiling of the throne room with Stormwind. But being on a PvE realm myself, I use it mainly for exploration. This is one of my favourite areas to explore, unless you're a scribe. You probably never looked up this fantastic library with floating books in Dalaran. So there's the guide. Hope you found it interesting and useful. If you did, why not do yourself a favour and avoid missing out on some of the great content I'm going to be releasing very shortly. Thank you for watching. This has been Archfelder. Okay. Now what?